Yo, 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 how's everybody doing? It's me, once again, Dustin Coyle, coming at you live. You are tuned in to Intelligent Thoughts. This is the NBA Today for Monday, April 22nd, 2019. Coming up here in just a second, we're going to talk Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook. We're going to talk about DeMar DeRozan, Gordon Hayward, a little bit, James Harden, a little bit, some interesting shit. He set another record on Saturday. We'll talk about that a little bit. A little bit of Joel Embiid. Obviously, we're going to bring you the scores from the weekend. And one team already eliminated from the playoffs. We're going to bring you that too and tell you who that is. Before we start also, I'm going to say go to your iTunes, your Podcast Addict, Stitcher, any of that shit. Subscribe, rate, and review the show so that you get the updates whenever they come out, and it gives you your chance to talk shit if you want to do that. Also, you can reach the show on Facebook, it's page Intelligent Thoughts there, on Instagram at Intelligent B Thoughts, that's the word B, 1E, in between Intelligent Thoughts, and then on Twitter at Intelligent Tho1, it's Intelligent THO, and the number 1. Again, be nice to hear from anybody who has any comments or questions or just would like to get a little interaction, sports news interaction there. Like I said, NBA Today, 4/22/19. Let's start the show. Alright, we are going to start on Saturday afternoon with the first game of the weekend in Brooklyn. JoJo Embiid finishes with 31 points, 16 rebounds, and the game-winning assist to Mike Scott for the go-ahead three-pointer with 18 seconds left, and the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Brooklyn Nets 112-108 on the road Saturday to take a 3-1 series lead. Philadelphia, down by 6 at halftime, was able to rally in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Nets 27-17 in the fourth quarter. Big part of that, obviously, Joel Embiid. He added 7 total assists to go with that 31-point, 16-rebound night there in Brooklyn. Huge catalyst there. Philadelphia didn't need him in Game 3, and might not have needed him here in Game 4, other than the other players didn't play well. And a lot of people think that the other players, Jimmy Butler, even Ben Simmons, don't really match up and play that well with Joel Embiid. It's kind of less is more situation with them, because Joel is so ball dominant. Ben Simmons is so ball dominant, can't shoot. Jimmy Butler would like to be, but there's just not really enough going around, especially when they get Tobias Harris going. But nonetheless, they did need him as the game progressed, finding themselves, I believe, down by 6 at the end of the third too. Halftime and at the end of the third, I believe they were down by 6 both times. And JoJo with a big fourth quarter leads them to a win. It'd be interesting to see how they choose to go forth. Obviously, they're up 3-1 here, going back to Philadelphia. It'd be interesting to see how they choose to go forward here with Embiid in Game 5, for example. I mean, I would probably sit him in Game 5, give him a little bit of rest. If he loses that game, you'd probably have to bring him back for 6 and 7. But it'd be interesting to kind of see what they do. Tobias Harris in this game also chips in 24 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Good overall game for him. 10 for 20 shooting. Not nearly as well as that 6 for 6 from downtown. Last week, he goes 0 for 4 from three-point land in this one, but still a productive game. Ben Simmons, 15 points, 8 boards, 8 assists on 12 shots. Pretty good game for him. Jimmy Butler just takes 6 shots, and he finishes with 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in the win. For the Brooklyn Nets, Caris LeVert in the starting lineup now for this game. He finishes with 25 points in 42 minutes, by far the most minutes played by any player on the team. Tobias Harris, 43 minutes for Philadelphia. I mean, that's a pretty heavy workload. But Caris LeVert, 25 points, like I said, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 for 8 from downtown, 9 for 18 overall. He is the leading scorer in the loss. D'Angelo Russell, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 for 9 from downtown for him, 6 for 19 overall shooting. Jared Allen with a great game, 21 points and 8 rebounds for him, 7 for 11 shooting, and he actually got fouled at basically the end of the game. Well, I think it was a 3-point game, or maybe a 1-point. No, it was a 3-point game. But yeah, he and the NBA has come out to admit that Joel Embiid seriously hacked him. It was a serious foul. I thought it was pretty obvious in the game. It was a no call, and it ended up being, I think, basically the second to last play of the game. He was fouled down low while going up for a dunk or a layup. And the NBA has come out to say that it should have been called. It wasn't. Doesn't really mean a whole lot to Brooklyn, I guess. It's something they'll look at in the future, or maybe try to come up with some sort of possible replay expansion, maybe like the NFL is doing. I don't know. But definitely a big one. Could have tied the series 2-2 for a team like Brooklyn, who has had almost no success, at least in the past 5 years, 6 years. Kind of a big moment in their franchise right now, at least. It would be, especially against such a heavy favorite in the Philadelphia 76ers. Tough loss for Brooklyn and their fans. But, it kind of is what it is. And we'll be moving on to Game 5 tomorrow evening in Philadelphia. The second game of the day feels like a little bit of a redemption story, honestly. Nikola Jokic had 29 points and 12 rebounds. Jamal Murray added 24. And the Denver Nuggets beat the San Antonio Spurs 117-103 Saturday evening. Kind of rebounding from a pretty terrible performance over the last 3 games, even though they won one of them. Once again, the Spurs started really well. They were up 34-22 at the end of the first quarter. The Nuggets, with a really good second quarter, ended up cutting that to a 2-point lead at halftime, and then a great third quarter. They finished the third quarter up by, I think, 12. Yeah, up by 12. And they kind of just smoothly rolled to a fourth quarter finish in this one. The 14-point victory on the road in San Antonio, one of the best home teams record-wise in the entire NBA. Jokic adds 8 assists to go with that 29 and 12 on 10 for 22 shooting. Good game for him. Jamal Murray, 24 points on this 8 for 14 shooting, makes 3 threes. He adds 6 assists to that. Torrey Craig is in the starting lineup in place of Willie Barton. He finishes with 18 points and 8 rebounds on 5 for 7 downtown, 6 for 9 overall. That was a great idea, especially with kind of the high post passing game that Jokic is going to bring to the table in this one. And Jamal Murray, obviously, kind of a drive and score, drive and dish type player. Torrey Craig with a great 3-point shooting, a real positive impact. He plays 37 minutes in the game. Willie Barton just 15 minutes. Barton also goes 3 for 3 from downtown, but 0 for 7 from the 2-point range. He finishes with 12 points off the bench. How about Paul Millsap? He's been having a damn good playoff so far. Well, in 27 minutes, he goes 1 for 7 shooting, finishes with just 2 points and 4 rebounds. They still win by 14 points, but in order to win the rest of the series, you got to think Millsap is going to have to play better. You don't really know how much you can trust Torrey Craig. Not a ton of experience there. He did play really well in this one. And then you don't really know how often Jokic is going to give you 29 and 12 and 8. I mean, he could just as easily give you, 10, 14, and 14 like he did, 3 games ago in the loss. And as for the Spurs, they are led in scoring by the, as of late, always consistent LaMarcus Aldridge. 24 points and 9 rebounds for him. 10 for 18 from the field, just shooting 2 3-pointers again. Their starting lineup combined to shoot just 8 threes. 2 for Aldridge, 2 for Derek White, and 4 for Brian Forbes. DeMar DeRozan, 19 points, 5 and 5 on 7 for 13 shooting. He ended up being ejected with about 5 minutes left in the game, down by 18 points, trying to spark a little bit of a comeback. He drives the lane, does a little bit of a spin move, a charge. He's called for a charge, and in midair, basically, he does like a spin move and then jumps for a layup. And in midair, turns and throws the ball at the ref. Basically, immediately starts walking off. Gets ejected from the game and fined $25,000, I guess, today or yesterday by the NBA. Today by the NBA. And officially doesn't look like he's going to be kicked out of another game, but definitely not the best look for a frustrated DeMar DeRozan at the end of a game. They ended up losing by 14, but down by 18 at that point. A really tough look for DeMar. Really tough game for DeMar also. How about Derek White? He had been playing fantastic. Slows down just a little bit. He takes just 8 shots, goes 3 for 8, finishes with 8 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Not the best game as Jamal Murray's counterpart in this one. But, he's been good so far, so we'll kind of see where that goes from there. Patty Mills, 12 points off of the bench. 3 for 6 shooting, 3 assists in 18 minutes. 2 dark spots for the Spurs in this game. Marco Bellinelli, he plays 17 minutes, goes 1 for 5 from the field, finishes with just 3 points. And Davis Bertans in 20 minutes goes, he plays okay, 2 for 4, 5 points. Rudy Gay in 18 minutes goes 0 for 7 from the field, 2 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds. They're going to have to play better as well. I still like San Antonio moving forward. 3 games left, 2 of them are going to be in Denver. That didn't seem to affect San Antonio in the first 2 games. They played better in 3 of these games. Realistically, they should be up 3 games to 1. Definitely got outplayed here. But I still, like I said, kind of like San Antonio moving forward in this series. Now, Game 5 is going to be again tomorrow, Tuesday night, 7:30. We'll talk about that tomorrow as well. All right, and onward we move to the 3rd game of Saturday night. Chris Middleton, the star of the game. He scores 20 points and grabs 9 rebounds, and the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Detroit Pistons 119-103 on Saturday night to take a 3-0 lead in the first round series. They dominated the whole game, up by 8 after the first quarter, up by 13 at halftime. Ended up being kind of a little cruise control game in this one. Still 34 minutes for Brook Lopez, only 28 minutes for Giannis. A little bit of a break for him. Still played a full starter's minutes there. Giannis finishes with 14 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists on 5 for 13 shooting. Not his best game. Probably one of his worst games, definitely his worst game of the playoffs. But it didn't really matter. Again, he was not necessarily the focal point. Eric Bledsoe finished with 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He took 19 shots, so he took 6 more shots than Giannis. Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton both took the same amount of shots as Giannis did. So it really was more of a team game here in this blowout, and it should have been even a bigger blowout. The Bucks were up by 22 points at the end of the 3rd quarter. Detroit actually plays defense in that quarter a little bit, albeit on mainly reserves, but they still end up losing by 16 points. How about Ilyasova off the bench, 3 for 4 from 3 land. He finishes with 15 points in 23 minutes. And Mirotic playing well again. He goes 3 for 5 from 3 land, finishes with 12 points in 14 minutes off the bench for him as well. As far as Detroit, they're led by the best player on their team, 27 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists for Blake Griffin. Bad shooting night, he goes just 10 for 24 on his field goal attempts and just 2 for 7 from beyond the arc. Obviously, kind of really the only bright spot here, though, 27 points in the 16-point loss. Reggie Jackson finishes with 15 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds on 15 shots, though. Didn't shoot well, 3 for 8 from beyond the arc. Wayne Ellington also 3 for 8 from beyond the arc. He finishes with 13 points and 5 rebounds on just 9 shots. Drummond gives you a 12-12 game, not